The greatest team to have ever played the beautiful game haven't had a lot to be happy about this season, but there have been a few shining lights. Mazraoui being one of our most consistent performers, De Ligt finally coming into his own, Onana pulling out double saves every other game, leaving Jose Mourinho speechless. But one man has stood out more than all the others, and that's Christian Eriksen. The Danish midfielder, who appeared only 28 times last season, scoring 1 goal and getting 3 assists, has already outperformed himself in 18 less games. In 10 games this season, Eriksen has already produced 4 goals and 3 assists. However, should this justify Eriksen being given a new contract at United? Let's take a look. Now, although Eriksen has been one of our shining lights this season, there are some areas that we must look into. For example, 50% of Eriksen's goals and 33% of his assists this season were scored in the Barnsley game. Not to mention, none of his assists or goals have come in the Premier League. Although it would be easy to get carried away with the form that Eriksen is in, we have to look at this realistically. The same concerns we had about Eriksen last season are still apparent. In matches where the tempo is high, for example, the Premier League, he struggles to get a foothold in the game. 50% of his goals have come in the Europa League, and 66.6% of his assists have come there as well. Bearing in mind, other than Porto, we haven't necessarily faced any majorly big names in the competition. There's a strong case to say we still don't have enough data to confirm that Eriksen can do it against the big teams anymore. Not to mention his defensive stats are quite literally atrocious. The man has won 1 tackle in the Premier League this season, made 1 interception and won 1 aerial duel. And given he's playing deeper now because he doesn't have the legs, these vulnerabilities are just going to become more and more apparent as time goes on. However, I would imagine a lot of fans would be blinded by the fact that Eriksen is one of the only players actually bringing some joy to us this season, so they will go with their hearts over their heads when it comes to offering him a new contract. In my opinion, Eriksen should not be offered a new contract. He's 32 years old, turning 33 in February. He's been a good servant to the club for his short stint here. But in terms of building a squad, we still don't know if we can trust him against the big sides. So should there be an injury to one of our first teamers and Eriksen is responsible for coming in, I'm not confident that we wouldn't feel that loss. Against certain teams, we can get away with starting him, but when building a Premier League winning squad, you need to have confidence that every player in that squad is ready to go when called upon. Should Eriksen be offered a new contract? No. Quality player, but his best years are behind him. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, drop a like, and keep the faith. Really appreciate you tuning in, and Godspeed.